Welcome everyone. My name is Jeff St Laurent. This is the Tuesday Live Show. I'm excited for today's topic, and today's topic is learning the fundamental mechanics of your coaching business. A vital piece, because there's so many shiny objects out there that promise quick and easy and fast results and leave coaches confused. And that's why I'm here to talk about understanding the fundamental mechanics, because when we understand those, we realize that really nothing else matters except for these items that I'm going to talk about today. With that being said, I help coaches transition to a full-time business. So you can check out my website, sellingcoaching.com, where I put all of these recorded live shows. I have a lot of great information there for you. So in the university at sellingcoaching.com, I have a lot of great information, as well as right on the homepage, I have a place where you can enter your name and email address, and that's a place to pick up a great resource called Launching Your Coaching Business, the First 3 Vital Steps. So go ahead and check that out. And then, of course, I am launching my 14-day GoPro Challenge. So if you want to check that out, that is goprochallenge.com. That will take you right to the page where you can learn more about that and register. And that is, interestingly enough, learning the fundamental mechanics, or focusing on the fundamental mechanics, where over 14 days, I'm going to actually walk you through what those fundamental mechanics are. And you're actually going to apply them real time as you go through the 2 weeks with other people, with my support. It's really cool. I'm super excited about it. So please check it out. And I'll be doing that on an ongoing basis. So really exciting things on the horizon as I help coaches transition to a full-time business. With that being said, let's talk about understanding the fundamental mechanics to your coaching business. So at the end of the day, here's what we want to think about. Number one, we're in this business because we love it. We're passionate about coaching, and we want to help people, right? So that's the biggest thing. So now when we take that, that's the coaching skill set, and we're passionate about coaching. And then we get to the spot where, we love what we do, but what's better than getting paid, what's getting better than that is getting paid to do what we love, and that is coaching. And so now we come in where the challenges most coaches come across is, how do I do that? And what is it that I do on a regular basis to get coaching clients, and it doesn't matter if it's a time like now where the world's in upheaval with a lot of things going on, or it's just any other day, business as usual. The mechanics or the fundamentals don't change. They don't change. Maybe you need to do them more than normal to get a result, but they don't change. And that's the thing I love about the fundamentals. And there's so much out there in regards to education and programs and training for coaches, post-graduation from a certification, et cetera, on how to grow their business. And there's a lot of stuff out there that promises quick and easy results. And I'm not gonna knock any of that stuff. And I'm not gonna say it doesn't work, because it's worked for the people that are doing it. It's worked for the people that are teaching it, right? And then you get to that spot where other people try it, and there's a certain percentage of people that are going to have success, and there's a certain percentage, most likely the majority of the people, who aren't going to create success. And that goes with anything. It goes with anything. So that doesn't mean that those programs, or even my program, are bad or good. But what I'm going to be looking at is what I want to teach you is that most of the stuff that I see that's out there, they're not dealing with the fundamental mechanics. They're dealing with higher level items in terms of, or more specific or unique marketing strategies or tactics. Call them, it doesn't matter what the label is, whatever they're calling them, secrets, tactics, etc. But whatever it is it's a certain way of doing something that's typically worked for someone. And what I found is a lot of those, especially a lot of the higher ticket programs that are out there, they're great stuff. Except for I've gotten a lot of coaches who have come at it on the back end after going through some of that stuff. And they get spit out the back, and they spend, multiple five-figure investment in a program, and they come out the back end, and they didn't fail, but they didn't complete it. They didn't follow through with it, or they followed through the best they could. The challenge with it is that the level of skill set they're at, they're not at. Let me say it differently. The level of skill set they need to be at in order to take advantage of those courses, they're not there yet. And it's not at a detriment to them. It's just they don't have the skills. They haven't done it enough. And so, I'll come into this when I start mentor coaching with my clients, and I'll say, I start working with the fundamentals of getting their business going. And I'll say, well, let's write a free resource, or let's do a live video broadcast, or let's do a video telling your story. Not even something you have to think of or create. It's just telling your story. And I would say the vast majority of coaches, it doesn't mean they don't do it, but they have a challenge with it. It's hard for them writing a free resource, so articulating their message in a written form, in a spoken word or recorded form, video, audio, things like that. That's a real challenge for most coaches. So we've got to start somewhere. And when we think about what the fundamentals are to our business, at the end of the day is we want to get our message out to the world to build an audience so that we can be in front of that audience, nurture that audience. So at some point, with whatever we're selling, whatever the product or service that we have, it's of value to them, and we've built up enough trust and rapport and reputation with them, and they have a need for what we're offering, and we understand what that need is where they buy from us. That's the most simplest form at the end of the day. And I say this to some of my mentor coaching clients as I'm starting to help put together their marketing structure when we're working together. And I'll say, listen, if I had you booked for the next 2 weeks, every day, just the 5 business days, Monday through Friday, and I had you speaking in front of a live audience of 100 people of your ideal client each day. It doesn't matter face-to-face or virtual, whatever. You've got an event of 100 people for the next 5 days, and then the next 5 days after. And that was it. And I would help teach you how to follow up after those events. Is it fair to say that you would be booked solid, right? Is it fair to say that you would be booked solid for like the rest of the year? And hopefully your answer would be yes. And my answer is unequivocally yes, because I've been there. I've had, 2 or 3 events that size, and that would easily create a 6-figure income for me, for the whole year, just with the follow up and what could come from those events, other events that come from those, clients, relationships, everything, right? So never mind 5 days in a row, 5 days in a row after that of 100 people, right? Unequivocally. So what that means is, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you had a website, it didn't matter if you had an email list, it didn't matter if you were on social media, it didn't matter if you fill in the blank of any other strategies, you had a funnel set up, it didn't matter if you had any of those things or other things that maybe you've heard that you need, right? Those are, I'll call those peripheral items, right? Yes. Do you need an email list? Yes, absolutely. We need to follow up with people. We need to stay in front of people. I'm not saying you don't need any of those things at some point. But what I'm just saying is if fundamentally, if you get your message in front of an audience and then you follow up with them and you know how to do it, you know how to invite, you know how to present, and you know how to follow up, that can sustain you. And how do I know that? I did that for 10 years. I didn't have a niche. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Well, I was learning along the way. That's why I'm teaching it now. But I didn't have a niche. What was I doing? I was putting my information out there on a regular basis, like you wouldn't believe. And I was uber passionate about it. And even if sometimes I didn't know what the heck my message was, I was speaking about something, and I was speaking about it in front of people. And it wasn't 100 people at a time. It was a handful of people at a time, a dozen people, 1 person, 2 people, the occasional, like I said, large crowd, 30, 50, 100, very rarely, right? Like those big numbers. But the point is, and it worked. That was it. And so my website didn't matter. My email list didn't matter. I actually didn't even use social media. And it wasn't really that long ago where we had social media. It might not be what it is today, but it doesn't matter. The point is I worked on those fundamentals and I created results. And that's the bottom line. And that's where I'm looking to help you to understand is, especially when you're starting off, is we're not getting fancy. I always talk about fundamentals. In other live shows, I talked about, there's no new fundamentals. And I'm a basketball lover. I'm a fan, and, a bounce pass is a bounce pass. I don't have to do an around the back pass. And I don't have to do anything fancy to get the job done. Dribbling, I can dribble through the legs and around the back, but I could do a simple crossover, and that can get the job done. And so I want you to learn the fundamentals of what we need to do. And you're like, well, Jeff, what are the fundamentals? I just told you those, right? It's getting your message out to the world on a regular basis. It's following up with those people, and through that follow up, we build relationships, we build that audience. And not everyone hires us and signs up with us or buys one of our products or services, but it's through that process that we learn how to do that. And that's where, for instance, in some of the things I'm teaching, like I'm launching my 14-day GoPro challenge. You can check it out, goprochallenge.com. And why I'm doing that is because over the 14 days, I'm not focusing on any of the superficial items that you might think you need in your business, like a website and your email list and social media in terms of presences there and things like that. What I'm teaching you is, okay, I want to get you to understand your message through your story. I want you to then get that message out to the world. And we start in like our little private Facebook group, and then we're going to be speaking it like on a live broadcast to whoever you have. It doesn't matter who's there. And then we're going to set up a live event for you. I'm going to teach you how to promote that live event, to get people to an event, present, create some great content, and then follow up with them to get leads. And that's it. Those are the fundamentals. And the good part about that, not the good part, the great part about that process is when you rinse and repeat that, so to speak. In other words, when you do that repeatedly over and over again, here's what happens. You get results. And here's the thing is no one can guarantee results. People can be cocky. They can be confident in what they offer. But no one can say, oh, especially if they're offering things in a time frame, right? 6 figures in 6 months, or, get 5 clients in the next 90 days, or whatever it is that they're offering, right? No one can guarantee that. But what I can guarantee with the things that I'm teaching is that you will get a client. Unequivocally, you will get a client and or clients when you do the fundamental mechanics, when you repeatedly do them, and as you get better with them. The only thing you can't predict is when you'll get those results. But I'm confident in the fact that you will get results when you focus on the fundamentals. It's when you take your eye off of what matters in your business, that's when you go off the line. That's when you get distracted and most of the time don't end up doing anything. Or get so overwhelmed where, you move a little bit forward in one area and then you stop because you're not quite seeing the results. So you stop and then you go down another path. And then you do another path, and then you get another email from another guru saying, check this out. Here's what I did, and here's how I earned, $10,000 in 2 days. And like, that sounds pretty cool, but you're chasing all this stuff. You're not recognizing that it takes time to build the reputation and audience. And I'm not saying you can't make sales in the meantime. The reality is that if you don't have anyone to sell anything to, then where are you going to get those people from? So we need to start getting our message out there, whatever form that is, so we can start building that trust and rapport with people. And then ideally, you have something that you want to share with them. You have an offering. You have something that is of value to them. And the great part is the more you start to share your message with people and the more you interact with people, and I'll call that in the sales conversations that we start to create, is understanding that sales process and the process we start to take people through. That's why, as an example, my 14-day challenge, the GoPro challenge, that's what I'm going to teach you my process that I've been doing since 2004, that I've been teaching my mentor coaching clients for the past 5-6 years, that they've created success just like I'm creating success doing that same process. We need to have a process that we're taking people through. And we need to understand what the process is for ourselves so we have confidence in it. And also the people begin to have confidence in us, and it's an easy thing for them to follow so they know what to do. And when they come to the end of that process, it's easy for them to buy, them to decide. Because at the end of the day, all selling is helping someone create an informed decision, a comfortable decision that they're excited about, because what they're buying or investing in, which is something that you're offering, let's call it your one-on-one coaching, it's going to help them. It's going to help them more working with you than they would if they did it on their own or by themselves. That's it. If they see enough value in hiring you, and they feel as if that they're going to achieve more and or quicker and or easier and or whatever the value of it is for them there in terms of how they'll feel with you as opposed to without you, that's when there becomes value for what you offer. And that's what I want you to start to understand is in one of the things I help my mentor coaching clients with the most is starting to understand the value that they bring to the market. Like, you must understand the value you're bringing to the market. So if you don't understand it, your customers never will. And a lot of the time that only comes from you speaking your message over and over again, even if you're not having confidence right away. It sounds counterintuitive, like, oh, I've got to figure it out before I start to speak it. And what I found is no, you've got to start to speak it to figure it out. And that's the difference. Is a lot of people will wait and they'll toil, and I think that's a good word. They'll toil. It sounds so painful, right? Toiling over something, but they toil over their message, whereas as opposed to getting it out. And what I'm going to encourage you to do now, or if you do my 14-day challenge, or just in general, is to get your message out there, and don't toil over it. How about this? You can toil while you're doing it. Because I'm not going to say it won't be painful. I'm not going to say it's not going to be painful as you speak it. And, oh, this feels weird and I don't really know what to say quite yet. And you muddle through it. But I want to give you permission to suck. Can I say that? Give you permission to suck. It's okay to not be good at something right away. It's okay to stumble over your words. It's okay to not quite know where you're going with something. We've all been there. And oftentimes we get these people online with these videos, and it's just like they look like they have it all together. And, they look like there's just like, it's like perfect. And that's not the case. It's years of evolution. That's why I try and make my videos look great. I like to have a good lighting and microphone, everything like that. I want to not present myself well, but I also don't want like some videos you see out there, they're very professionally done and you can tell they spent some money and they're all in these business suits and, men or women, and they're just, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing either. You're at a certain level, you're at a certain level. But I also want to keep things relatable for you, because at the end of the day, you've got to be relatable to your customer. And if you're not relatable to them, oftentimes it creates confusion, or they don't feel like you can do that. I want to be relatable to you. I want to film from my office. You know what I mean? I want to have my pajama bottoms on while I'm doing a live presentation. I want to do a great job and impress you, and I want to educate you, and I want to help you along that way, but I never want you to feel like it's not attainable. I want you to feel like you're able to do it yourself, but I also want you to honor and recognize where you're at and what you need to do to get better. As I went back earlier and I said some of the stuff that's out there, some of the things that people offer, most coaches that are starting off, they're not at the skill set needed to really get the most from these programs. And it doesn't mean that they couldn't start to develop it or learn very quickly as they go through it. It just means most of them aren't going to get the most from there, because they need to work on the fundamental mechanics to get them to that spot, where they can do some of the bigger, more advanced items, especially some of the things that require more of your investment. Like if you're starting to do paid ads, like Facebook ads, if you're starting to invest in a lot of software programs, if you're starting to invest in, some of the back end technical people to help you put some of these platforms together with some of the funnels, etc. Stuff that you shouldn't know how to do all yourself, nor would you be expected to. Hopefully when you're doing more of that stuff, you're in a place in your business where your income, there's a portion of it you can invest in that stuff. And yes, it doesn't mean it couldn't be a good amount, but the point is that it's not like, oh my God, I'm investing $2,000 a month in all these gurus and I'm earning nothing in my business. Like, that's not a great situation to be in, especially to get you leads, and you don't even have a process you're taking someone through, right? You don't even understand the sales process or qualification process, or how you're going to ask for the sale or take payment, or what your structure is, or some of those fundamental items. Yet you're investing all this time and energy to get all these leads, when on the back end, you don't even have a process you're taking people through. Like, to me, that's not smart. You got to learn the fundamentals. So hopefully this has been helpful for you. Like I said, if you want to check out what I'm doing with the GoPro Challenge, that is something that I've obviously been super excited about. I want you to check it out. GoProChallenge.com. You can watch a little 3-minute video there and learn all about that. The great part about the challenge is we got a group of people that are like-minded coaches just like yourself who are going to go through it together. I'll be guiding you along the way. I'm super excited about it. The cool part is it's only $49, and I'm doing it at a very entry-level price so I can get more people going through it so they can learn those fundamental mechanics, and ideally by the end, get a coaching client. And whether you get a coaching client or not, the cool part is that you're going to learn what you need to do. So as you do that over and over again, it's only a matter of time before you get those results. So check that out, GoProChallenge.com. If you have any questions, of course, you can reach out to me.